Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good day everyone. In this video, I'm going to explain about the example of value returning method. So I'll start with the flowchart as usual and then continue with the Java code. So I'm going to use the similar class, which is rectangle. And inside that the class, we will have two methods, which are value returning methods. One is calculate area and another one is calculate perimeter. So in this class, we will have main, and after that you are going to have calculate area method and also calculate perimeter method. Okay, so inside your main, you are going to ask input for the width and height, and then we have a method call for calculate area, and then we have a method call for calculate perimeter, and finally we are going to print the value of area and perimeter. Okay, let's see one by one. So after you ask input for the width and height, you are going to call method calculate area. So this calculate area method will send two parameters, which are width and height. So this width and height that we read from user will be sent to the method calculate area. So based on that width and height, you are going to calculate the width times with the height. So you're going to get what is the area of the rectangle. And then if you see here, we have a written area. So based on what you are calculating here, which is area, the value that you get for the area will be written to the caller. So whatever value that you get for the area, you are going to return to the caller. So this is how we represent in the flowchart. If you notice, before this we just write return, so because it is a void method, but this one is a value returning method, so this is how we represent the value that we are going to return from the method. Okay, the next one we have method calculate perimeter, and here also we are going to send width and height. So when you call this method, you are going to send the two values, and you are going to calculate the perimeter 2 times with the width plus height, and here as well you are going to return what the value of perimeter. So whatever value that you get for the perimeter, you are going to return to the caller. So after that, you see that we have here print area and perimeter. So this area and perimeter values, we can get them from the methods that we called just now. So you're going to print it, and then you are going to end your main. Okay, let's see the code. So here is the code. We have class rectangle value returning method. So in this method, in this class, we have two methods, calculate area and also calculate perimeter. Okay, you already know the calculation for the area and perimeter. This is the first method, and this is the second method. And we also have the main method here. Okay, so let's see the methods one by one. So here is public static integer, calculate area, integer width, and integer height. So from this method header, we can already know that this is a value returning method. So this integer value indicates that this is a value returning method. So meaning you are returning an integer. Okay, your calculate area parameter is accepting two parameters here. So this width and height are the formal parameters. So inside this method, what we do is that we have the calculation for the area, where we have area equals to width times height. And if you notice, we are declaring area inside this method. So meaning this is a local variable and it is only accessible throughout this method. Okay, so if you see the next statement here in the method, we have return area. So we have the return statement as the last statement inside your value returning method because it is returning the area value. So if you notice here, we are returning area. So area data type is an integer. That is why in the method header we write as integer. Okay. So when you call this method, you have to send two values, width and height. Then based on the width and height, you're going to do the calculation and you're going to return the area to the caller. Okay, so we are done with calculate area method. So the next one is calculate perimeter method. So similar to calculate area method, we also have public static integer here. This is showing that this method is a value returning method and it is returning an integer value. This method also accepts two parameters, which are width and height, similar to the calculate area method. Okay, so what we do inside this method is to calculate the perimeter of the rectangle. This is the formula, and then we are going to return the value to the caller. So similar to calculate area method, the value that we are returning is the perimeter, and the data type for the perimeter is integer. So that's why in the method header it is integer, and the last statement in your method is the return statement, which is return perimeter. So this is our second method. And finally we have our main method. We have the declaration for the variables. We have integer, area, perimeter, width, and also the height. This is the scanner object creation, and then you ask input from the user for the width and height. So after that, if you see here, this is the method call. Okay, the method call consists of on your right hand side is the method call together with the parameters. So these are the actual parameters, and on your left hand side is the variable that will grab the value that is written by the method. Okay, if you still remember, in the previous video I already explained about how to call the method for the value returning method. So when looking at this statement, you should be able to understand what happens actually. Let's say user give us the value for the width as 40 and the value for the height is 6. So when we have the method call, you are going to send 40 and 6 to the method. So based on that, you are going to do the calculation. So 40 times 6, you will get 240. So this 240 will be kept in variable area. Okay, it is already in the variable area, but since it is a value returning method, so you are going to return 240 to the caller here. So this area will accept the value of 240. Okay, and then you also have the next method call, calculate parameter, where you will send the width and height 40 and 6 to the method calculate parameter. So here you are going to do the calculation. So 2 times 46, you will get 92. So 92 will be kept in variable parameter. Okay, after you do the calculation, you are going to return the parameter value to the variable that you have in this caller. So 92 will be held by this parameter variable. And finally, you are going to print out if the value of area and also the perimeter. So if you compare to this flowchart, so this is the part where you print out the value of area and perimeter. Okay, let me run this code. So let's say my width of rectangle is 40 and my height is 6. So I will get 240 and 92 as my output for the area and perimeter. Okay, if you notice in this code, I don't include the print info method because the value returning method will return to me the area and perimeter to the caller. So I don't need extra print info method. But if we would like to have that method, it is also possible. Just we just need to make a little bit of change. So we just add the public static void print info method. But this method should accept two variables, which are area and integer perimeter. So we can have the SOPs inside this method. Okay, after we have the SOPs inside the method, what we have to do next is we have to call the method. So we'll just comment this two lines of code and we replace with the method call for print info. So if you notice here, print info is a void method. So when you want to call this method, you don't need variable like this one. So you just call the method print info. But here you are going to send the area and perimeter. So we are sending two parameters to the method print info. So if we run this code, okay, similarly you will be asked for the width and height. So you will get a similar output. But now you are using a print info method and you are sending the area and perimeter to the method. If I don't want this print info method to have any perimeter in it, so if I do it in this way, let's see what will happen. So meaning I try to call this method and I try to print the value of area and perimeter, which are declared inside this main method. So what will happen is that you will get error. Okay, if you see here, error cannot find symbol. Okay, why we get this error? Because area is declared in method main, in main method. But suddenly you want to print out in the print info method. So this is where you can use public static declaration for the area and perimeter. Public static integer area perimeter. So since you have declared the area and perimeter as global, so you don't need this anymore for the area and perimeter. Now you should your code should work well. So you give input and you are going to get the output similar as previous sample run. Why this happened? Because earlier we tried to print out the value of area and perimeter which we have declared in the main method, but now we have changed it to become a global variable by putting the public static keywords in front of the declaration. So meaning all of the method inside this class is able to access the values. Okay, so these are among the tricks that you can use. All of these can be used based on your needs and you can try it one by one. Try to use it and all the best.